Hi everyone, it's great to have you here. I'm super duper excited because I've got a friend of mine who I met maybe 3 or 4 years ago interviewing today, Melissa Ambrosini. It's so wonderful to have you here. How are you?
Very good. I'm honored to be here and so excited to chat to you today.
Oh, thank you. So was it 3 or 4 years ago, do you think we first met?
I think it was a little bit longer, and I don't even remember how we came together, but the universe so beautifully puts you in the orbit of people that are like-minded, and it just did that for us.
Oh, well, you know what's really amazing is that when I first met you, I think you were just purely coaching. I think that's what you were doing at the time. And now you've evolved into a speaker, you're still coaching, you're presenting, and congratulations on your book. You're an author now, Melissa. It's,
Woohoo!
I've got my copy as well. So I absolutely love your book. I've been following what you've been doing for the last few years. I think I was just, going through IIN at the time and you'd already graduated from there. So it's really quite amazing to see your evolution. And I mean, writing a book, I was reading the book and it's just so beautiful and raw and honest and so much has gone into it. I'm so excited. Clearly, I've launched right into the book, but can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, Melissa?
Okay, so yeah, there's been a long journey to get to where I am today. And for me, it kind of all started about 6 years ago. I hit rock bottom and ended up in hospital. And as you know from, me sharing that in-depth story in my book, and for anyone else who's read it will know this story, but I had to hit rock bottom in order for me to turn my health and my life around. And before that, I was a professional dancer and an actress, and burning the candle at both ends and in the middle. And it took me a really heavy wake up call where I ended up in hospital for me to look at my life and look at how I was treating myself and my body for me to turn everything around. I ended up in hospital with a whole host of health issues, from chronic fatigue, thyroid issues, depression, an eating disorder. And my entire immune system shut down, and I ended up with a really bad case of the cold sore virus. And I'd never had a cold sore before in my life, and I had them all over my face, like in my mouth and down my throat. And I couldn't open my mouth, I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat or anything. And the severity of the cold sore virus is what tipped me over the edge and put me in hospital. But it was literally the virus was attacking my immune system. And that's what, really pushed me. From there, even though that was the darkest point in my entire life, where I literally felt like I had nothing, there was this tiny, tiny pinhead, tiny glimmer of hope within me that, I just trusted, and I knew that if I sorted my health and my life out, that I could live a great life. And so from there, I went and immersed myself in this personal development and self-help world. And I read every spiritual text I could get my hands on from great teachers like Eckhart Tolle, Marianne Williamson, Deepak Chopra, Louise Hay. And I just totally immersed myself in this world. Then I went and studied holistic nutrition at IIN and life coaching, acuenergetics, which is energy healing work, and I did my yoga teacher training and meditation, but nothing was as powerful and as big a learnings as mastering my mean girl. That was my biggest university. That's where I got the most lessons. And that was 6 years ago. And like when we first met, I started coaching. I was coaching women one-on-one. And then I moved to doing group coaching, and running workshops and events and speaking and sharing on my blog and, writing ebooks and launching products and meditations. And, it just snowballed from there. It hasn't been rainbows and butterflies and unicorns the whole way. Absolutely not. It has been there's been many challenges, but the thing that has led me to where I am today is just the consistency and continuing to put one foot in front of the other. And that's, how I feel I got to where I am now.
Wow, and in all of that, firstly, I can totally empathise with the cold sore virus. My son had it as a little baby, Melissa. It was the most intense thing, and he was suffering in so much. Like, I know what that is like. So little wonder that you broke down. That is completely breaking down, getting that virus. I mean, it was the most frightening thing to watch my little baby go through. But also that I think in our work, tell me if you agree, what we're trying to do is help people not have to hit rock bottom like we did. I mean, for me, it's about preventative health. Because I've got the same story. My followers will know that it was because I wasn't able to conceive a baby. For 4 years we were trying that I found my path to wellness, and a very, very similar story to you, both hitting rock bottom in our own way. And that's what I think your new book is about. That's what your coaching was about, what my work is about. It's just bringing awareness to people so that they don't have to go what we went through. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Some people come up to me at my live events and they say, your story is amazing and I don't want to have to hit rock bottom to make those shifts, to get my health and my life on track. And I'm like, you don't have to hit rock bottom. Like, you can have that internal shift right now watching this video.
Yes.
Or laying in Shavasana on your yoga mat. All it takes is the conscious decision to be the best version of you, whatever that looks like for you, and wanting to live your best life. Again, whatever that looks like for you. Not comparing yourself to anyone else, but doing what feels good for you. Because everyone has different definitions of, success or what their best self looks like. And it's about being true and honouring you.
And it's then implementing a step-by-step approach, isn't it? Because I see a lot of people kind of want to change everything at once, and then that sort of sets them up for, not really setting themselves up for success. So it's small steps to make real change is how I see it work. But actually, just to go back to when you said, I mean, it's the title of your book, and you said that really the turning point for you was mastering your mean girl. So could you explain to everybody listening, what is your mean girl? What do you mean by that?
So your mean girl is that voice inside your head that says you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, who do you think you are trying to get clients, no one's going to pay you, no one's going to read your book, you're not smart enough, fast enough, you're not whatever enough. And we all have that voice inside our head. And some people call it the ego, some people call it the inner critic, the voice, your smaller self. You can call it whatever you want, but for me, mean girl really resonates because she's mean. She is mean. And she lives, and the ego's job is to keep you in a state of fear. That is the role of the ego. But that is not the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is that beautiful essence of love in your heart. That is the truth of who you are. But we get so confused and we let our mean girl run the show and tell us that we're not good enough and pretty enough and smart enough, and we believe her. And we hang out with her for years, sometimes decades, before, we realize that there is another way. And sometimes some people don't realize there's another way, and that's beautiful too. That's their journey. But for me, I had lived in a constant state of fear for most of my life until I hit rock bottom and was reminded that that's not my truth. The truth of who I am is love, and we all can live from a place of love.
Okay, totally get. I mean, we all have the mean girl. I mean, does she still pop up for you?
Totally. And I am not here saying I am enlightened, because if I was enlightened, I would have transcended this body. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be in this physical world.
No.
So everyone has an ego. Every single person, even the Dalai Lama. The difference is that mine is now pretty much on mute. She does pop up, Absolutely, she pops up. But I am quicker at mastering her and returning back to my truth, which is what the book is all about. And the more and more you practice mastering your mean girl, the quicker and quicker you get at returning back to your truth and back on your true path. So I use her, say this is my life's journey, this is my path. She will take you off your path, and I use her as a compass to come back onto my path. And she'll take you off, and then I use her as a compass to come back. So it's always about using her for the good. And, some spiritual texts talk about killing the ego and smashing the ego. It's not about that. It's actually using her, as your bestie, as your guide to come back to your true self.
And tell me then, what will we find in the book? What will we find in Mastering Your Mean Girl?
So much. So this is a guide to living your best life, to being the best version of yourself and becoming wildly wealthy, fabulously healthy, and bursting with love, whatever they mean for you, because every single person's different.
Yeah.
And it gives you, as you know, there's inspo actions throughout the book, which are opportunities for you to take what you've just read and implement it into your life. So do some exercises and take inspired action. I didn't want Mastering Your Mean Girl to be another personal development best self book that you read and you feel so inspired and you're like, yes, I'm going to take on the world. And then you put it down on your bedside table and you feel inspired for a week and then you slip back into your old habits. That is why these inspo actions throughout the entire book are so important, because they give you a tangible experience with what I'm talking about and give you the opportunity to really embed everything that you're reading in the book.
And I think also that the book can apply to everyone. I was wondering how young, because really, Melissa, wouldn't it be wonderful to get the younger, I don't know, how young do you think you can start to get them on the right path right from a young, ripe age? And I was just wondering, I've got some friends with teenage daughters, and I was wondering if it would be certainly suitable for their mums. I absolutely love reading it, and you can never get enough of these sort of tangible tools that you include in the book. But how young do you think for your book in terms of...
Do you know what? I have had some mothers read it to their 6-year-olds. They're reading it to them in bed. And just
beautiful.
Little snippets, not all of the stuff. Like there's a big chapter on money and things like that. But just about self-love and confidence, those chapters. They're reading that to their daughters, and they're laying in bed every night reading it, and they send me photos, and it just like, oh my God, my heart just like bursts.
Oh, that's so gorgeous. There you go, and that's the subliminal message that's getting through from this young age, which is what we want. We want to raise confident, beautiful, spirited, young girls, that because when you look at the reality of, what the messages that they're bombarded with, Melissa, in society and community and marketing. I mean, this book that you have written is suggesting the opposite of that. It's almost like a weapon against, all that noise that they're receiving about who they should be, what they should be, how they should be. So it's allowing them to get in touch with themselves and their best selves and how to grow and develop from there. So I think that's absolutely beautiful to hear that it's being used in that way already.
Absolutely. It's so important.
So just one chapter in particular that really resonated with me, Melissa, and I think would resonate with a lot of my followers, because a lot of the women, my tribe, are really busy mums, okay? Mums with 1 up to 6 children, okay? So the part that I could relate to and really kind of got me reading was the one about the glorification of busy. So I just wanted to know if you had any suggestions for people like me who the reality of their day is that you've got your kids, you've got to cook, shop, wash, work, take them to their activities, help them with their homework, be a loving wife. And honestly, Melissa, it really, really, really feels overwhelming every single day. and I get out of breath at the end of the day. And I am one of those people who someone will say, how are you? And the reality and the main truth that's there on the surface is I'm crazy busy. And I'm the best that I can do, and it is my form of self-care, is actually just to mark out time each day to make sure that I do something for myself, so that I'm not resentful, so that I'm, filling my cup up. But what would you say to my tribe who are all very busy?
Well, there's the word busy is eliminated from my vocabulary and from my family's because the word busy has a negative connotation that comes with it, and it's become something that we wear as a badge of honor, and it's glorified. It's like, oh yeah, I pulled an all-nighter. It's like, yeah, you're amazing, or I did this and got only 2 hours sleep, and it's like high five. But for me, running yourself into the ground is not something that you should be proud of. And I understand that there's differing variations of busy. Some people may be very busy at home with 6 kids. Some people may be very busy being the CEO of a big organization.
Yes.
There's different variations, and neither are right nor wrong. It's just, it's all the same. The thing is, everyone's busy.
Yeah.
Everyone has to-do lists as long as the Thames. Everyone has a full calendar. Everyone. And that's just the reality of the world that we live in. We live in a fast-paced city, and that's the reality of it. You don't have to be like that. You can absolutely pack up, go live in the Himalayas in a cave, and renounce everything if you wish. But the reality is we live in a very busy big city, and there's things that need doing and kids that need picking up and feeding and work and all sorts of things. So for me, whenever anyone asks, how I am, I connect with how I'm feeling, and I'll say, yeah, I'm feeling really energetic, or I'm feeling a little bit lethargic today, or, I connect with how I'm feeling. And if someone asks, how's work going? Are you really busy? I'm like, it's full, it's full. Because full has a bit of a different connotation to it than the word busy. So be mindful of your dialogue, because what happens is the words and thoughts that you think and speak are what manifests out. So if you keep saying, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, you're going to be so busy. Same with, I never have any money, I'm always broke, I'm so poor, I never have any money. That is what you're putting out into the universe. So be very mindful of your dialogue. That's why that word is eliminated from my vocabulary. For me, there is a couple of things that you can do when your life is really full. And like you mentioned, it's so important that we fill ourselves up so that we can be the best mother or the best team leader or whatever we're doing. And that doesn't have to be 4 hours meditating on your cushion. It literally, and I give lots of examples in the book, but it literally could be 3 mindful breaths whilst you sit at the traffic lights on the way to the school drop-off. It could be repeating mantras whilst you have your 1-minute shower. It could be repeating mantras whilst you're on the toilet, or deep breathing whilst you're on the toilet, or, having a cup of tea in the sun with it on your face if you can. It doesn't have to be hours and hours long. And if you've got 6 kids, like, I don't know where you'd fit that in. Yeah. But, it just has to be a couple of minutes for you. And maybe you do that a few times throughout the day. Or maybe you just do it in the morning. Yeah. So starting your morning off on the right foot will set your tone for the entire day.
Yes, I love that. So mindful language, which will really shift the energy around your state and also, create a positivity to your life, and also just taking moments. And that's how I've been approaching it, taking moments of self-care rather than focusing so much on getting it right, getting exactly the right balance in all of this craziness. So I absolutely love those tips. And interestingly, I did start to replace "my life is full" when people started to ask me, but very quickly, I guess the mean girl started to throw "busy" back in. So I will now be more mindful again of replacing that word, definitely. Might take some practice.
Beautiful. And, you can tell your husband to help hold you accountable for it. Get him to, tell him that you're going to work on this and see if he can hold you accountable. But it's also really important that we are creating our life moment by moment, and every moment is a clean slate, a fresh start, and we are the artists behind that canvas, and we can paint whatever we wish on that canvas. So be really mindful of that dialogue, of what you're putting out into the universe. And if you are completely, remembering that everything is a choice. And I choose to move through my day with ease and grace. They're my two favorite words. I have them written all over my house, ease and grace. And my husband will say to me, if you can't do this with ease and grace, don't do it. And if I can't wash the dishes with ease and grace, he's like, don't do it, I'd rather do it. If you can't do something with ease and grace, then stop doing it and return back to it when you can be in a state of ease and grace. Life is so much more juicier when you can.
Or just get the kids to do the dishes, which is what I've started to do. So you mentioned that little habit of having ease and grace around the place, high in your consciousness. What other everyday habits, or even everyday, weekly, yearly habits, do you actually personally have in your life?
For me, as you know, I have a beautiful stepson who we co-parent, so we have 1 week on, 1 week off. And every day, my non-negotiables are yoga and meditation in the morning. The weeks that we have him, I have to get up at 5 o'clock so that I can do it before he wakes up. To me, it's a non-negotiable. If I don't do it, I am a cranky, shitty stepmom. I am. And then I take it out on him, and that's not fair.
No.
Because I didn't take the time to fill myself up. He doesn't deserve me snapping at him and being cranky toward him. Like, this being is pure love.
Yeah.
And they don't deserve the shitty, half-assed, cranky versions of their parents.
Yeah.
So for me, the weeks that we have him, I have to get up earlier. I have to make sure that is still in my day. And I structure my day so that I can. One of the best things ever I do the night before I go to bed, I usually do this wrapping up from work, so before dinner and things like that, I look at my day for the next day. I look at my calendar and I make sure that I'm like, okay, right, so I've got to drop Leo off there. Okay, well, that means I've got to get up at that time. So, right, I can do my yoga then. Okay, then I've got that. And I plan out my day for the next day so that I'm not waking up overwhelmed and stressed from the get-go. I can wake up. I don't have to look at my computer or my phone because I know that I have it all mapped out and ready to go. And for busy mums, this is imperative. And of course, your days are going to change, but just take it day by day, moment by moment. So for me, the night before, I just look at my calendar, I'm not going to be home for lunch. Okay, so maybe I could make eggs in the morning and then I'll make a bit extra and I can take that with me. It's just about a little bit of forward planning, a little bit of forward thinking without taking you out of the present moment too much, but just a little bit of, okay, right, my day goes like this, cool, right, I've got to make sure, well, if I've got to pick Leo up at 2:30, I've got to have everything done by 2:15.
Yes.
It's just a little bit of preparation.
Yes. And cutting back on the Facebook surfing, if you've got to pick Leo up at 2, that it really does make you strict with your time, and not just more economical with your time. So much is wasted when you actually plan and you realise, you know.
Really.
Yeah, that you
Do
can.
you know what's funny? The weeks that we have Leo, I am so much more productive because I have a time limit. Like at
I know.
2:45, I have got to be out the door. Like no later.
How
so
much?
I've got this limit.
Yeah, and that 5 minutes before you have to. That's the 5 minutes before you have to pick them up is the most productive time of the day, I reckon. It's like woo! Wow, it's so amazing to hear you. You're a mum, Melissa.
I know, because when we first met, I wasn't.
No, but I had a sense of what a beautiful mum you would make back then, because I remember you talking about playing a mum on one of the TV shows that you were in, and I was like, you played a mum, but then I totally thought, oh, you'd make such a beautiful mum. You were gorgeous with my kids that day. They met you as well.
Just angels, I love them.
I just want to wrap up soon, but I did want to just 2 more questions, if that's okay, because I talk a lot about food, Melissa. I blog recipes. I'm very passionate about nutrition, and I know that everyone will probably be quite interested in hearing your personal food philosophy. Of course, everyone understands by now that we all need to listen to our own nutrition intuition, but what works for you? I just know that people might be interested to hear. If you don't mind sharing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I have a whole chapter called Fabulously Healthy in the book where I outline my food philosophy in depth in that. And I have done so much research and study, and essentially, in a nutshell, my food philosophy is eat how our ancestors ate.
Yeah.
So from the earth and the ground and the ocean. If it comes in a box or a packet, it's not really food.
Yeah.
You've got to pick it or catch it or kill it. And I believe in buying the best quality or growing whatever you can fathom. Whatever is good for you. I believe that the quality is imperative.
Yeah.
So I am 100% organic, wild, grass-fed, grass-finished animal products.
Yeah.
I am organic vegetables and fruit.
Yes.
And we eat very, very basic.
Yeah.
You know, we eat protein and vegetables.
Yeah.
But we make it fun. You know, like last night we made the most amazing cauliflower pizza. And it was so good. So cauliflower base with fresh tomatoes, and we put anchovies. We made a macadamia cheese.
Yes.
On top, and we put some wild caught salmon on top, and some spinach and rocket, and it was amazing.
Sounds
I was so
divine.
sad when it was over.
What time should I be over for dinner tonight, Melissa? Yum!
Seriously,
Oh.
and that's one of cooking is one of mine and my family. So my husband and Leo's favorite things to do. On the weekend, we pull out cookbooks and we get inspired and we get him in the kitchen.
Yes.
So we say, what do you want to make?
Yes.
And let's, we get him in the kitchen with us. And I know you do that with your kids a lot too, because education is key.
Yes.
Once you know what you know, you can't unknow it.
That's right.
Once you know what gluten, commercial dairy and refined sugar are doing to your body, you would never touch them again.
I mean, that ideally would be the case with children. However, they do rebel, Melissa, and I remember rebelling. But rebel away, there's nothing we can do about that, but they will come back. That's the most important thing. And the studies show that they come back because they know. I mean, and they're still in their rebellion. They're still making much more mindful choices than if they hadn't been, and they know the limit. I'm going through that stage at the moment, especially with my tween. So, and you've got to actually make sure that you're not controlling things so much that you're creating fear or labels around food when it comes to kids as well. So,
absolutely.
That's
really, really important too, And all we can do is do the best that we can when Leo's in our house.
Yes.
And that's all we can do. And what happens, at parties and at
Yes.
school, and you have to surrender.
Yes, you do
And
have to surrender.
And all we do is continue to inspire
Yes.
and teach.
And
That's
nourish
all
our
we do.
children.
And nourish.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. And then I can go to bed at night knowing that he's doing all right. It's not perfect. It's never going to be, but he's doing all right, and we're doing the best that we can. And yeah, that's a good feeling. So, okay. Before we wind up, I'd love to know, what does the future hold for you, Melissa? What are your dreams?
Oh my gosh. Infinite possibilities.
I don't doubt it.
Infinite possibilities. It's very hard for me to project so far into the future. I've never been one of those people that have set 5 and 10-year goals. I have ideas. I'd like to write more books.
Ah.
And, I definitely love to keep writing books each year and releasing them. I have no idea what they'll be about yet, but we'll see. For me, next year, 2016, I'm going on a book tour all around Australia, which if anyone would like to find out more, you can head to masteringyourmeangirl.com. And then the book launches in America, so in March. So I'm heading over to LA and New York.
Amazing.
And then, then after that, I might start on the second book. But there's, if I can just continue to do what I do now, which is live every day from my heart and, have fun along the way and be of service, then I'm content.
How beautiful. Thank you, Melissa. Now, for anyone who wants to find you, connect with you, get your beautiful book, can you let us know how to do that, please?
Yeah, so you can, if you want to know anything about the book, head to masteringyourmeangirl.com, about the tour, where to get it. You can get it, it's in all Australian and New Zealand bookstores, or you can get it online. It will be overseas for everyone, but just hold tight. It'll be out soon, or you can order it online. And then if you want to check out any of my other work, head to melissaambrosini.com. Come play with me on social media. I love Instagram, where I share lots of insights into my day. It's so much fun. I feel like a professional photographer. I want to be a professional
Me
photographer.
too.
Yeah, seriously, that's one of my goals.
Me too.
Actually,
Me
for
too.
2016. I'm going to do a photography course.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that I need to work on, Melissa. And I'm passionate too.
It's such a creative outlet, and I just want to get better at taking good photos.
Me too. Thank you so much. It's really been so lovely talking to you, Melissa, and congrats again on your book, and good luck with the launch in America as well. And I look forward to sharing this interview with everyone.
Thank you, beautiful. It's been a pleasure.
Mwah. See ya. Have a great day. Bye.